Hi everyone, it's Margaret Manning here, and welcome to Mornings with 60 and Me. Today is Thursday, it is October the 13th, almost the middle of the month. So I hope you're doing great this morning. I have got my cup of tea this morning. I have got, it's called sweet chai, and it's got anise, fennel, licorice, and cloves. It's really a nice drink. It's very spicy, but a great way to start the day. So I hope you've got your tea and coffee or coffee ready there, and we'll sit down, go through the news, bring you up to speed what's going on in this world of ours, and then a couple of stories to cheer you up and make you have a great start to your Thursday. Now, I want to also remind you that at the end of the show, I'm going to announce our winners of the face masks that we were giving away as a gift yesterday, and I've got another special offer, special gift for someone. So just stay tuned and we'll go through that at the end of the show. So I've got some news from around the world. I'm going to do it fairly quickly this morning because I feel like there's just so much going on. I don't want to choose one or two news articles. I'd like to give you a broad spectrum today of what is going on in this world of ours. Now, you've noticed probably that Russia is in the news a lot these days. It seems to be a definite presence of the Russian point of view in just about every aspect of our lives these days. So, first of all, they've agreed to restart negotiations with the United States on the Syrian situation. So on Saturday, John Kerry and his counterpart in Russia will be in Lausanne in Switzerland and trying to restart these discussions about stopping the bombing in Aleppo. So that's the first thing. At the same time, the news is saying that Russia has picked up its pace and is bombing Aleppo more heavily than ever yesterday. So there's two very interesting conversations going on there. Also, with regards to hacking United States emails, especially the Clinton Democratic campaign, Russian President Vladimir Putin was interviewed yesterday, and he said, it's not in our interest to hack anybody, but I can't stop whoever might be doing it. Very interesting conversation. So there's a lot of Russian presence, and I think that this is something that we should pay attention to. They're a very strong power, and a lot of people depend on them for their oil. It's an interesting dynamic right now, so let's keep our eyes on what happens over the weekend in particular. So, in Afghanistan, Afghanistan is a very fragile country. We've talked about it, and it's super important to the rest of the world, to the stability of everyone. And on Tuesday, there was a bombing at a religious ceremony for the Shiite Muslims. Now, this is a very special day for them, and this attack took place. The Islamic State has claimed responsibility. They are Sunni Muslims, so there is this conflict between the two. But 18 people were killed on Tuesday. And then yesterday, Wednesday, they bombed again, and another group were killed. So there's a lot of very intense competition and battling going on in Afghanistan. In Nigeria, a quick news story that a female suicide bomber blew herself up in northeast Nigeria and killed 8 people. This is Nigeria, another hotspot. Venezuela. In Venezuela, there had been calls to try to oust the president, Maduro, for some time, and he is pushing back and trying to delay that process. But there were protests on the streets yesterday in Venezuela again. Very fragile country under stress to try to get that impeachment in place before the end of the year. And also in Colombia, there were protests yesterday to encourage the government to get back around the negotiating table with the FARC rebels, because that, as you know, those talks broke down as the citizens voted against the peace referendum. So that's happening in Colombia. Germany, I want to just give you an update. So far this year, 2016, 213,000 migrants have come into Germany. Big number, and it puts a lot of pressure on Chancellor Merkel to sustain her belief that there should be an open door policy in Germany and let the migrants in. So that's Germany. And in France, as you remember, there's a camp near Calais called the Jungle. President Hollande in France has said he wants to close that down before the end of the year, and he's making good on his word. There are now about 5,000 people left in the camp. They're starting to move children. Some to Europe, to the UK will be let in, and others are moving to other centres in France so that they can clear the camp. The news this morning is that the bulldozers are going to go in next week. This is going to be very big news next week. So just hope that everybody that is innocent in this situation can get into a safe place, and that France can get a handle on this very disruptive situation in Calais. Now, in Haiti, I want to give you another update. Of course, they are just reeling from the Hurricane Matthew that went through last week. There are medicines and foods getting through now, but it's still a very desperate situation, and cholera is on the rise, and they're so worried about a cholera epidemic. Saw some pictures yesterday of Haiti, and it's just completely devastated in certain areas. So I want to let you know about that. But I do want also to let you know that all of our ladies in Florida seem to be doing okay. Dolores is back online, and hi Dolores. I'm so glad that everybody made it through okay, and hopefully not too much damage. But it's great to have you all back, and welcome home. So, and by the way, thanks for encouraging each other. In the comments below, there were so many wonderful conversations, welcoming everyone, back to who weren't able to join because of power cuts. And, it just means a lot to me to know you're connecting. It's really wonderful. And of course, we have to also mention our friends in North Carolina. There have been a lot of deaths there, and the flooding, according to the governor, is going to get worse before it gets better. And so again, looking at pictures in North Carolina, it's pretty desperate state. So again, all the women in our community, just stay safe and get to higher ground, and boy, just start rebuilding your lives. It's such a bad season for hurricanes so far. Quick note for our UK sisters. You might be wondering what David Cameron is doing now that he retired from government. And I read yesterday he is going to start a new job. He's going to be involved in something called the National Citizens Service for Teenagers. It's a group that really offers after-school curriculums and community service projects for teenagers, to help them to get into the workplace and have better skills to do that. So David Cameron's made that decision to jump on that board and do what he can to help. And just back to the United States, I wanted to mention this in case we do have any women in Florida who haven't registered to vote yet. Because of the hurricane, they have extended the voter registration for another 6 days. I'm not sure when that started from, so just check your newspapers and online to make sure you don't miss that deadline. This is the year for making sure you vote. And as I've said before, if you're not voting, then you are just playing into the myth that women over 60, people over 60 are invisible. Your vote is your way to be heard, so get out there and vote. Vote for the person of your choice, the party of your choice. No judgment, just vote. Get involved. And so that's the news of the world today. And I would like now to switch gears and talk a little bit about myths. Actually, about myths that affect us as older people, and get your thoughts on it. Let's have a conversation as we go. So there's a site called Senior Planet that I love. I love Senior Planet. They're in New York, and every time I want a little bit edgy look at the news, I go to seniorplanet.com, or is it org? Oh, I better check that. I'll put it in the document. But it's Senior Planet, and they have articles of all kinds of really, eclectic and interesting news. And I would encourage you to check it out. But they have a person, her name is Joan Eber, and she wrote an article about the 8 great myths of aging. Now, we've talked about some of these before, and I know you're probably going to go, oh, yes, I know this. It's a totally ridiculous myth. But let's just chat about them and see what you think. See which ones you think are really affecting your life. So, first of all, the first one that she mentions is older people are suckers. We get conned all the time. This is a myth because it turns out statistically that more younger people get caught up in these online scams than older people do. The challenge is that because we're older and maybe more embarrassed and a little shameful that we've fallen for it after all these years, that we get recorded and noticed more. But it's not the case that we get scammed more often. We're targeted a lot, but we can handle it. And we've written some articles about this, so check that out. Now, the second thing is that she says is a myth is that if you're older, you're going to end up in a nursing home. That's inevitable. That's the myth. It's not true. Statistically, according to her article, 2011, which is a few years ago, but the numbers were only 3.6% of people over 65 end up in a institutional setting. So that's something to think about, that this myth that we are going to end up in a nursing home, and it's just not true. There's lots of options, and hopefully we have written about enough to inspire you. Third is that older people are grouchy. Now, I do know there are some grumpy boomers. There does seem to be a tendency sometimes to just see the lens, the glass half empty. But on the whole, again, research has proven, older people are more cheerful. We tend to see the bright side of things. And I can support this because in our comments to articles, we see occasionally a topic that gets everyone sort of up in arms, but usually we see the bright side. The next myth is that retirement is depressing, and of course we know this is ridiculous. Yes, of course it's hard. We're losing our income, our friends, there's things that are changing, but retirement's fun, and I think we all are proving that every single day. The other thing that she talks about, number 6, is that older people are set in their ways. And again, there are some people that do have a traditional view and don't want to change, but on the whole, again, research shows people in their 60s and 70s are happier than they've ever been in their lives, and they try new stuff. They try new things. They're not stuck in their ways. So that's another myth that we deal with. Another one, of course, that we've talked about a lot is that older people lose interest in sex. And we may lose interest in the same kinds of relationships. Of course, we're not going to have children, so it's not for that reason, but we don't lose that sensual part of ourselves, that need to be nourished and loved and physically embraced. And sex is an important part of a lot of women's lives in their 60s. And if you're not with a guy, then just make yourself feel sensual. It's important. It makes you feel alive, so it's good. The other thing she talks about is brain power decreases with age. And this is another ridiculous one because we in fact talked about this yesterday. And the myth that the brain cells, decline or they actually disappear is not true. The older brain can regrow neurons. It can get stronger. And as we discussed yesterday, there are specific things you can do. Exercise, mind games, eating well. Lots of good ideas. But brains don't degenerate with age. So that's the first. That's 8 of the 10. So go and have a look at the article and on Senior Planet and read all of these if you'd like. But I think it kind of highlights that we are not, not to believe these myths that other people put on us in our 60s. Important. Okay, so that's our news and views for today. I would like to just quickly tell you who I chose to win our, that's not the one, there's a collagen one. We've got several of these beautiful masks, but there's a collagen mask that I'm giving to 2 different people today. They are Nanette Van Dyke McDonald. Nanette, congratulations. And also to Nona Grace. So Nona and Nanette, congratulations. I hope you enjoy your little mask. I've sent you details how to get in touch with me so you can give me your address and we'll get these in the post. I hope they make you feel sparkly and shiny and good. Pamper yourself. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, I'm going to go through a website offer a website every day for you to visit. And please, if you've got one that you love, leave it in the comments in the section below and I'll feature it for other people to judge. It doesn't matter if you like it and don't think anyone else will. It doesn't matter. This is a community where we put thoughts and ideas out there that not everyone is going to agree with. We've got 350,000 women that are in our community and 80,000 or plus on Facebook. So we're never going to agree. So all I would say is that this is just a total aside, but be gentle with each other. And if you don't really like an article or you don't like something we're talking about, yes, you can comment, but maybe best to just, if you don't have something nice to say, just move on to the next article because there's lots of those. And so the website for today was recommended by Judy Racy. So hi, Judy. Thank you so much for this suggestion because the site you recommended is wonderful. It's called thepowerofpositivity.com. Powerofpositivity.com. And it's a lovely site. It's got all kinds of articles. I probably actually, Judy, will use it to pull some actual articles into our mornings with 60 and Me show. They're very, very good. They're not just airy-fairy. They're concrete. Powerpositivity.com. So that's great. Now, I want to close with a very fun story that I read yesterday. And this was another one that somebody sent to me. It was Jane Coombs. Jane, thank you for sending this. You're always sending me lovely little articles, and I love them. So thank you. But this is cool. This is about a craze that's taking place in New York City. Now, New York is a crazy city. I lived there for a few months, and it's pretty wild and wonderful. But this is there's a show there every year called the New York Comic Con. And this is where the companies announce their new comic books and stories and products. And every year you get these little action figures that come out that are usually related to superheroes. Superheroes like Batman or Superman or, the traditional, the kids love them, little action figures. But they become very collector's items, and they're very, very popular. And this year, the star of the show, you will not believe this, are action figures for the Golden Girls. For, I got to get these names, Dorothy, Blanche, Rose, and Sophia. I don't know who you identified with, but that was such a fun show. And a lot of women I know watch it still. But these action figures of these 4 women became the hit of the show. It was sold out in, just minutes. And in fact, they said you had to win a lottery or like a raffle in order to even get in line to buy these beautiful little action figures. And they were selling for $25 for the set. Well, guess what they're charging now on eBay? Yeah, $250. So they've gone up in value overnight. So I just think that's a super fun story that the Golden Girls are the new trendy hit at New York's Comic Con. So I hope you like that story. I think it's really fun, and it just shows how much influence us older women have on society these days. It's great. It's good fun. Right, so I would love to, again, thank you for being here. Thanks for your support. I always look forward after I finish these shows to reading your comments and knowing what's on your minds. So thank you again. Tell your friends, family, anyone that you think would love Mornings with 60 and Me. Just have to go up to 60andme.com/mornings. That's our place. And tell everyone to join us. Join the party. All right, so I'd like to leave you with one question for the day, and look forward to your answers to this. I would like to ask you what other characters you think should be made into action figures. See if you can think of any people, living or dead, who you think should be made into action figures. And we'll have a fun conversation on that. So look forward to hearing your thoughts. Again, thanks for being here, everyone. Have a really wonderful Thursday. Do something good for yourself. And we'll see you all back here tomorrow on Mornings with 60 and Me. Bye-bye for now.